Memorization is definitely something that I started working on. One of the things that I do when I'm memorizing lines is I break down the scenes into little mini scenes and think about what the overall art of the conversation is. I repeat line, but I'll also ask myself questions about the lines that I'm saying. If I have a line that says, for example, what's with my lead? She walked right past me. So I would say, okay, we're asking about how to do it. What is she doing? She walked right past me. So that's why I ask the question to begin with and kind of make sure I have the reason for each of the lines I say, because I find that if I know why I'm saying as a character, then the line seems more natural and just as easier to remember.
Everybody memorizes lines different ways. When I was working and I had to drive half an hour back and forth to work each day, I put all of my lines on a recording and I played it in the car. And I would say my lines as I heard them. What I find works for me best now is I memorize my first line and then I say it, and then I add the second line and I go back to the first and the second. So by the time I get to the end of the show, I know the heck out of the first act.
Only one, I record my cues. And that way I don't have to rely on anybody to run lines with me. I can keep it with me all the time and run 4 or 5 times a day. The best advice I can give for learning lines is study them constantly, never put them down, all the way through until the show closes.
My tip for memorizing my lines, I have several ways that I've tried to do it. The way that I've done the longest is I have my playbook and I get a postcard or a piece of paper or something and I cover up the lines and I read the first line and I memorize it. And then I read the second line and I memorize it and I go back to the first line and repeat it. So I cover it up and I go down the page that way and I break it up into small scenes. So if I get the first page, I memorize the whole first page, then I add the second page and I go back to the first page until I get everything right on the second page. Then I move on to the third page. And something else I've started to do is record my lines and listen to them while I do other things like cleaning houses or exercising, something like that. So it's always in my head and I'm always hearing it. But reading and the visual and the audio, just having it in my head the whole time is really the best way for me to memorize.
Okay, as for memorizing lines, I do tend to read them repetitious. It's just repetitive every day. I will read the script. So I see where my lines fall. Usually a show has a pattern or a story that it's telling. So, after you do that, you kind of get prepared for what's coming next, the next part of the plot. But I can't memorize hardly anything until the blocking process is over. There's some people who sit down and they start reeling off the lines. I can't do them because I will realize that I'm leaning over the couch. That triggers certain phrases. It's not so much the line that the person gave me, because they may miss that line. It's where I am. Do I have a drink in my hand? Do I have a cane? What prop? I like to use props. The main reason I like to use props is when you rehearse the props, they trigger. I stepped on my right foot, I'm holding a cane. Oh, these lines come out from that character or that moment. Because you should rehearse it so much that it becomes second nature. So if I have a secret to lines, it's living the part. You're in a character or whatever, and this moment in time reminds me of the line that I should be saying, because that's the way I rehearsed it.
Basically, for me, memorizing is a challenge, but I am trying to read the script every day, or at least go over my lines every day. And if you have a spouse or a loved one who will sit through it with you very patiently, as I do, and read your cue lines so that you can get your lines right, that's the best way to practice in my opinion.
Well, fight choreography, all we're doing is a little bit of sword fighting in this one, a little bit of fencing, with just a regular foil. And there's nothing to it. The easiest way to learn it is watching old Errol Flynn movie or something. And what we're doing is very short, so it's really just, you know, we have 4 basic touches, here, 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 and here. And that's what we use the whole time. It's matter of getting the speed down, 1, 2, 1, 2. You number your moves. Your touches, touch 1, touch 2, back over, touch 3, touch 4, and you number. And that way, while you're learning, you're in your mind, it's just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, that sort of thing. So you just number, line it up, and do what you want to. The script will tell you the rest.